Alright, hey everyone. Okay, so this weekend was the Eurogamer Expo, and I decided to go along to it again, like I did last year, and I managed to get some hands-on time with Team Sonic Racing. I managed to play it over the course of 2 days, and I managed to get pretty good at it for a while, but the video you're about to see now is of Ice Mountain, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through the video as it was if you were watching over my shoulder, and then I'm going to play through it again and add a bit of commentary. Now, this video was shot very early on the first day that I was there, so I'm not very good at the game yet. I haven't mastered some of its controls and gameplay mechanics, so I hope you bear with some of the embarrassing performances I put in on this one. But afterwards, after this clip, we'll go through it all and we'll sort of have a look at some of the tricks and some of the secrets that the game has, because I think there's quite a lot to this title. Okay, thanks for listening. Enjoy.
Okay, it started.
The lady plays.
Also, the loading times are very long.
Yeah, but it is still early. If I do this right. I
Yeah, you missed that.
If you get that right, you get a huge boost of speed.
Yeah, I did that on the first go.
Okay guys, so that was the video of me just playing through it. Now I'm going to play the video again, but this time I'm going to add some commentary to it, so I hope you get something useful out of this and maybe learn a bit more about how the game works, and I'll try and explain some of the little secrets that I found in this, and I hope you find it interesting. Okay, so let's get on with it. Okay, so something about the character select screen here. The top row is for speed, the middle is for technique, and the bottom is for power characters. Now they all have different advantages and disadvantages. Unfortunately on this track I pick a speed character, and I later found out that this track isn't very friendly to speed characters. You really want to be a technique character. As my friend there points out, the loading times on this are quite long, but I'm hoping that's just because this is a basic demo, that will improve over time. You can see your teammates there. You don't get a say in this demo as to who's on your team. And I try here and completely fail to do a boost start, but I do get it in the other video, which you can check out after this one. Alright, so you can see there Silver is leaving behind like a yellow trail. If you're able to stay into that, that's his slipstream, and you will get a huge boost. Now here I discover one of the little tricks. I'm able to sort of jump off there, and I completely fail hitting the next one. But yeah, you can probably get some good boosting and some tricks in there which will help you win the race. So this route I'm taking here I believe is the quickest route. However, this section I'm on here is very unfriendly to any character that isn't a technique character, because technique characters are able to grip and drive on rough terrain. And you'll see an example of that later on in a moment. Like this section here as well is mainly for technique characters. It's very difficult to stay on if you're a speed type. Okay, so I'm just going to pause the video for a second. Right, you'll see at the top there it says Vector has offered you an item box, and just before that it said Silver has offered you an item box. Well, what that was is basically whenever you pick up an item in this game you get one of said item. But if you get an item from a member of your team, or you pass an item to them, the exchange is multiplied by 3, so you get 3 times that item. So in the case of getting the item from Silver, I got 3 boost powers, wisp powers that'll let me boost 3 times instead of just the 1. So that's something pretty cool which is in there. And also the way this game works as well, you don't necessarily win the race by coming first. You have to do various tricks and pass items to and from each other which give your team points, which contribute to the overall score. But anyway, let's carry on and see what happens. Okay, so this section here, if I just pause again, right, you might see on the left there's a blue container, and what's very hard to make out is there's actually a booster in that container. Now, one thing you can do if you're a power type character is if you drive through that container, the end of it is closed, but if you're a power character, you can smash through that. So you basically open up a new route for you and your team, but you have to be careful when you're going to do that, because other team members, other teams can actually go through that as well. So you kind of have to decide if you're going to use it on the first lap or when the best time is to use that. Again, it's thinking tactically, and that's kind of where the fun and the intensity comes from on this game. The orange crates, which are above me, they do randomly crash down on the map, but I'm not entirely sure if there's a trigger for them or if it is just random. But anyway, let's continue with the race. So again, I'm trying to stay in the slipstream to get another boost. It's not easy on this track because it's much slippier than the other track is, and being speed carry. Oh yeah, I'm just going to interrupt myself. You see how all of a sudden I've come to a stop and Vector is the same there, just on the right? Well, that's because that's an example of rough terrain, but if you look ahead, Silver was able to drive on that no problem. And in that section there as well, I was behind Silver and I managed to pass him just on the side, and I was able to get a good, I think they're called a, oh, I can't remember what they're called now. It's either a slingshot boost or a or some sort of side swipe boost, I can't remember. But yeah, if you're able to sort of just overtake to the left or right of of someone on your team, you get a boost. So if you stay in a slipstream and just break out of it at the last minute, you'll get a slipstream boost and another boost on top of that. So it's all about thinking and planning ahead what you're going to do in your team, which is actually quite cool. I used a weapon power up there. It's like a homing type weapon, and again I got an item from Vector. That giant whale is weird because there's no splash when it lands in the water, so I'm not sure what's up with that. And oh, that's an interesting one. Yeah, you can. I'm just going to pause it there actually, because there's something coming up which I kind of want you to see. In that instance, it looks like if you get hit by an item whilst in the air, you don't carry, your momentum doesn't carry on. You instantly plummet down like a stone, which is not sure what to make of that actually. If this was like a platforming game, I would be a little bit I'm not sure. I mean, I guess it kind of does make sense given what given the type of game this is, but it just looks a bit strange to just suddenly stop like that and plummet when you're in the air. But what you might have just seen there before I paused was it came up with you've unlocked your ultimate special move. Now, the ultimate special moves on this are a bit disappointing. Every team has the exact same ultimate power, and I'm just going to show you what that's like now. So let's start it up again. So it's kind of like an all-star move. You get a huge burst of speed, and if you touch another player, like I just touched Omega and Big there, they instantly spin and crash out. But what's interesting is your AI characters, they will all use their special at the exact same time. But in multiplayer, you can decide as a team when you're going to use your special move, if you use it all at once, or if one character wants to use it and another one doesn't. Why is that a thing? Well, if you use it all at the same time, it lasts for a longer period of time, but if you use it individually, it doesn't last as long. So again, there's tactics going into this. That was interesting. You can get rammed mid-air. That's actually another thing. Power characters are very good at ramming other characters, and you can completely kill someone's speed and momentum. Right there you saw me get a good slipstream boost, and I was able to just pass on the outside of Vector, and I got another boost on top of that. And again, that gives you points for the race, but I'm actually not doing too great at the moment. I'm quite far behind. You just saw there I fired a weapon and it impacted the crate because the target actually moved behind it, which is, I suppose that's quite good in a way, because, you know, it might be a bit too unfair if these things actually followed the path that the racer took. So that's actually quite a good thing. Okay, so that's the end of the race. Now, this is not I'm just going to freeze it here once the menu's loaded. Okay, so this is not the best race to actually demonstrate the scoring, because if you take a look, Amy's team, they pretty much all finished right at the top, so they're almost certainly going to win this race without a doubt, because their place points, their position points are just going to, they're just going to be so high, it doesn't matter about their team play bonus. But if you take a look at my team, we're kind of spread out around the middle, so we're probably not going to do that well either. But if you take a look just below Blaze, you can see that picking up rings gets you points, team play also gets you points, and your position also gives you points. So these all add up, which is what decides your place. So let's set it off again. And now you can see how all the teams did. Okay, let's pause. So you can see there that, as I said, Amy's team completely won that race, but when you look at Omega's team again, yes, they did come second, but look at the difference to my team. They didn't do quite as good. You know, you'd expect it to be a lot more higher. But it's not that high, and the reason for that is just simply because my team has a few more characters which are positioned better than Omega's team is, and we also probably did a lot more team-based actions. And you can kind of see it as well for Sonic's team. They came last despite positioning slightly better than Omega's team, but also they're quite far down compared to my team, so that again suggests that they didn't do too many team attacks. But this results screen, it's a lot better demonstrated in the second video. Okay guys, so that's all I can say on this. I do kind of like the game. I think it's a fun game. It is when you slightly master the controls and figure out all the tactics you can do. I've uploaded a second video, which is on Planet Wisp. I really recommend you watch that one because it was filmed a lot later in the day, and I'd become a lot better at the game, and I'd managed to sort of pull off a few more tactics, and I do position a lot better, and you can actually see how the scoring works a lot better in that one. So definitely give that video a watch. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to, but it will help me out and help the channel out. And speaking of that, if you found this video interesting, if you liked it, please